It is report card time for the Chicago Bears, as we have seen now the major moves that they have made in NFL free agency. What is going on, y'all? Fox Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Bears. So if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Trying to hit 10K, folks. Putting out a lot of content. Would really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Go ahead and do so. Turn on my post notifications and follow me, please, on my social media. Links down below and on the screen. You guys can reach out to me, ask questions, whatever it is, here for you guys. Go ahead and do so. With that being said, look, we've seen pretty much the major moves that the Bears have made in free agency. It is time to evaluate them. Now, I have done separate videos assessing each move individually, but it is time to attach a letter grade to each of those moves. So, what will be my letter grades? Let's get started. So like I mentioned, report card time here. I'm actually going to put a letter grade next to each of the moves that the Bears have made. And let's take a look at the moves that the Bears have made. I got my whiteboard here in front of me where I will be giving the letter grades. And obviously we'll start with Jimmy Graham, Robert Quinn, and then go to Robert Quinn, and then Nick Foles, and then I'll give an overall grade. Okay, now listen. The Bears free agency technically isn't over. They're still going to make more moves, and I will definitely give my thoughts and analysis on each of those moves. But for the most part, these are the major moves that they have made. Okay, they don't have a lot of money left unless they restructure contracts, cut players. Like, they have to get fancy with the salary cap. Okay, so as of right now, not really expecting too many other big moves, even though we still need offensive line help at right guard. We still need another cornerback. We could use another safety. So there's still moves to be made, but for the most part, these are the major moves. So let's start at the top with Jimmy Graham. Okay, Jimmy Graham, the Bears signed him to a 2-year, $16 million deal, approximately $9 million in the first. $9 million is guaranteed, I believe, yes, in that deal. And here's where I'm at. I wasn't a big fan of the move. The Bears needed tight end. They absolutely needed to upgrade that position. But here's all you need to know. I had made numerous videos about the Bears and which tight ends they should target. Obviously, the home run hit would have been Austin Hooper, who I wanted the Bears to get. But obviously, if you didn't get Austin Hooper, there were still other guys that I liked that I thought, you could look at. And Jimmy Graham was not even on my radar. Like, the Packers had cut Jimmy Graham, and then, everybody's like, oh, they just cut Jimmy Graham. Is a guy who couldn't even consistently start for the Packers. So I kind of just brushed it off. I didn't even think about it. And then you hear the Bears signing Jimmy Graham. And listen, like I said, did they address a position? Yes. But did they address it well? No, they did not. Jimmy Graham is washed up. We know that. Doesn't really have the separation that we think Jimmy Graham did, that we know Jimmy Graham did. Really, I mean, at this point, he's still obviously got solid hands and he can block a little bit. But at this point, like, folks, anything you get out of Jimmy Graham is gravy. And I've said this in the Jimmy Graham video. Trey Burton had a better year 2 years ago in 2018 than Jimmy Graham had last year. I mean, and he's played with some excellent quarterbacks in Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and Russell Wilson. And now he's going to go to Mitch Trubisky and or Nick Foles. So, again, like I said, they addressed the position, but I was not a fan of the signing. I think they could have done better. My letter grade for the Jimmy Graham signing is a D. Yep, it's a D. I got to be fair. Let's move on to Robert Quinn, the pass rusher from the Dallas Cowboys. The Bears signed to a pretty massive contract, I believe 5 years, $70 million. But again, only $30 million guaranteed. Now, this move I was a big fan of. Pass rush was another need that we had on this team, but it was lower on the totem pole. I told you, we needed tight end, offensive line help, another quarterback before we really needed to address the pass rush. But hey, you add it to your strength, fine. I'll give it to you. And you added somebody that is legit. 11.5 sacks, impactful. Get somebody across from Khalil Mack who can literally take advantage of the double teams that Khalil Mack has had. And now, oh boy, opposing quarterbacks are going to have a rough time here. So I thought this was a very solid move. And for this move, I'm going to give the Bears an A-. The only reason I'm giving it a minus is because, like I said, they threw a decent amount of money at this position, even though it wasn't the highest priority. Okay, we definitely needed to add to the pass rush, but it wasn't the highest priority. So I'm going to give an A-, but still a solid move nonetheless. Now we get to Nick Foles, okay? And here's my thing with Nick Foles. Nick Foles, I like this signing for the Bears. They basically traded away a 4th-round draft pick. That's probably the only bad thing about this signing, is that they gave up a decent amount of compensation, folks. You can find some pretty good players in the 4th round. The Bears gave that up in a draft in which we really don't have too many picks, okay? So we don't really have too many picks, and they had to give up a 4th round to get Nick Foles. So not happy about that. But Nick Foles, when the quarterback market dried up, he was the best option. Yes, he was a better option than Andy Dalton, than Jameis Winston, than Cam Newton. He was the best option. We're talking about a guy who can come in, give Mitch Trubisky a run for his money for the starting job, and still, even if he loses, be very content with being the backup, okay? So he can come in, play both roles. As far as the contract, he takes a $15 million cap hit next year. We can cut him after that. It's only a $5 million roster bonus if we decide to keep him past this year. So it's not as big of a financial commitment as people think. It's really not, okay? I know you want to think that, but it's really not. Now, ideally, I had wanted the Bears to obviously, you know, my preference was Case Keenum because he would have been cheaper. So the big things here are the fact that we had to give up a draft pick and the fact that we had to take on salary to get Nick Foles. We had to trade for him. But again, the salary thing, even though they restructured it, and I'm not going to ding them too much, but definitely the 4th round draft pick, that was tough. So for this move, I will give the Bears a B-, okay? That is what they get for this move for Nick Foles. So like I said, B's are solid, all right? B's are nice, but the minus comes because they gave up the 4th round draft pick. And now we get to overall. Overall, so far with these moves in free agency, what do I give the Bears, okay? And can we get a drum roll, please? You know, I'm doing a drum roll right here. Dun, 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 dun. I will give the Bears a C+, okay? A little harsh, but it's passing. C's get degrees, right? Remember? So it's passing. And I give them a plus. Okay, so here's where I'm at, okay? Obviously, I just went through the signings. They addressed the positions, but not all of them. Offensive line was not addressed. We need a right guard to replace Kyle Long. Tight end was addressed, but not with a particularly good tight end. Pass rush was addressed. Wasn't really that high on the totem pole. Backup quarterback / starting quarterback, you know, the competition, that was addressed. So for the most part, they addressed a majority of their needs. But for some instances, they didn't address them with the best option available, or they gave up a little too much compensation. And so to me, that is why I'm giving the Bears about a C+ here. I know it feels kind of harsh, but that's just how I feel about this, folks. If the Bears had gotten Austin Hooper and Case Keenum, and they had gotten still Robert Quinn, I mean, I think that would have been, you know, I would have given them a much better rate. If they had just gotten Austin Hooper, this goes to literally like an A-, okay? Because like I said, Jimmy Graham at this point, he doesn't have a lot left in the tank, and we didn't upgrade the tight end position. And they didn't upgrade offensive line, although we will probably, you know, look to upgrade that in the draft. And again, free agency, we're only in, what, is it day two or three right now? I lost track, but that's where I'm at, C+ for the Bears. So I want to know from you guys, give me your letter grade on the Bears. Give me a letter grade for each of the 3 signings and give me an overall letter grade and why. Let me know down below, and let me know if you agree with my grade or not. C+ for the Bears signings. Leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree. As always, saying thanks for watching.